boy, Titus. Ready? Here we go. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Good boy. Good boy.
Well, good morning. It's Wednesday. Time for more learning. See you in a second. Good morning, 8th grade. Good to see you again. Thank you for your hard work yesterday on the Korean War. Today's war is the Vietnam War, as the Cold War continues to heat up and the people in Asia kind of have to pay the price for it. So in Vietnam, it was not the kind of war it was for Korea. It was a police action for us again, but for them, they were kind of fighting for their independence. They were trying to get free of the control of the French. The United States decided, hey, we're going to back the French, not the Vietnamese people. So we made enemies of them. So when the French left, that hole was left and we had to fill it. And so we continued to support the southern Vietnamese and then the northern Vietnamese. And again, we had another war that we got ourselves kind of entrenched into. This war is gonna kind of bleed over into 2 more units. So the Vietnam War lasts a long time. It involves a lot of things. So pay close attention to it, all right? I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Now pay attention to today's guest. It's Miss Psomas. Hi, Miss Psomas. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Tamney. Hi, everybody at St. Mary's. I hope everybody is well and staying safe. I miss everybody so much, all your smiling faces.
Oh, well, I got to tell you, when I started doing these videos, the kids were like, can you get Miss Psomas on as well? And I said, I will reach out to her, but you can tell them the kind of difficulty you had and your helper to get you on. Tell them who helped you to get here today.
I had to ask my daughter to show me how to use Zoom and get on this computer because I have no idea how to do a Zoom session. So this has been a real new experience for me. So thank you to my daughter who helped me get on. If it wasn't for her help today, I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Well, we would just put a picture of you up and then we would just pretend like we were having a Zoom session. Okay, so as you know, the kids sent me a bunch of questions, but before we get started with that, I'd like to ask you, how are you doing? How's your family? How is everybody during this time?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you for asking. I thank God every day that myself, my family is all doing well. My daughter, who lives with me, is actually on the front line. She's a registered nurse at Good Sam. And she has been right in the middle of all this right from the beginning, dealing with COVID patients. So, you know, every day I pray for God's protection on her as well as all the other healthcare workers. And all my other children and grandkids are all doing well. And even my little dog is doing well. I think he kind of likes the fact that we're home so much, you know, because he really misses us when we're not here. So I'm very, very grateful that we are all well. Thank you for asking.
Well, that leads us to one of the questions. So one of the questions the kids have is, do you have any pets? So obviously you have a little dog. So tell us about your little dog and what kind of dog it is. I
have a Yorkie. And if you hold on a minute, I could actually go get him. Hold on.
I hear him. He's talking.
Come here, Titus.
So we're now waiting for the dog. Those of you at home who are just tuning in thinking I'm interviewing a chair, that's not what's happening. Here she comes.
Okay, here's Titus. This is Titus. Yes, he's a Yorkie. And he's 8 years old. And he's just a love.
Well, he's
Titus.
Oh, my.
All right, go. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Oh, he's got a big mouth.
Yes, he barks at anybody or anything that comes in front of the house.
All right, we're going to get started. Are you ready? Here come some more questions from the kids. So I've got a lot of nurse questions and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to combine them as best I can all together. So I've got the first one is, did you always want to be a nurse when you were a little girl?
Absolutely. I grew up watching medical shows. One of my favorite shows was Medical Center with Chad Everett, who was this really handsome looking doctor. And every week I would tune in just to see his practice. And also Robert Young was also another one of my favorites. But I always wanted to be a nurse. I always had that plan that if God provided the way, I would be a nurse. I started out as candy striping at Good Samaritan Hospital.
Okay, not to date ourselves, but just you, me, and a few others know who Chad Everett and Robert Young are. And Robert Young, for those of you at home, was never young. We never saw him young. He was always
he.
I think, okay, so sticking with our theme of the nurse, so how long have you been at St. Mary's as a nurse?
This January was my 21st year.
Ooh, 21 years.
Yes.
And so that brings us to the next question, the last of my nurse questions, I believe, and that is, how long have you been a nurse altogether?
I was a licensed practical nurse when I was in the Air Force. I was able to challenge the state test in California, and I got my licensed practical nursing certificate, and that was in 1981. And I got my registered nurse degree in 1987. So mathematically, that's over 30 somewhat years.
Don't worry, we don't do math on this channel. That's Mr. Kiewitz's channel. Okay. We're fine.
Okay, that's right. You're the History Channel.
That's right. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one comes from students that I've had this. So they want to know, how many Woodstocks and Snoopies do you remember me making for you? Because they get to carry down my attendance folder. So they say, how many Snoopies and Woodstocks can you remember me making for you?
I think it's been for the past 4 years, Tim.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and every year it's a different one.
Every year is a different one. Everyone's a different. Okay, so here we go. So this next one, I actually don't have to go to, I can go to the paper now. So do you have a place you like to visit on vacation? Is there one special place that you really enjoy going to?
Well, I have to say, my favorite vacation spot, I always wanted to visit Australia. And 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Australia. And that was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful vacation. So I'd have to say that was my all-time favorite.
Fabulous. Who went with you?
Myself. I went by myself. When I had gone to Israel 2 years prior to that, I had met a couple, and they said, anytime you decide to come and see Australia, you can come and stay with us. So that's who I went and stayed with. But I went by myself.
So yeah, it was an adventure. You went there, but you had friends that you met up with. And what kind of things, what did you see while you were in Australia? What kind of things did they show you?
Oh my goodness. I went to Sydney. I went to the capital. Adelaide is where my friends live. I saw the kangaroos. I saw the koala bears. Beautiful, beautiful beaches. It was just a beautiful, beautiful place. And I hope I get an opportunity to go back there again.
I'm sure you will. Okay, so then the next one is the kids would like to know, other than during a pandemic, what do you do when you're not a nurse? What do you do with your free time?
I love to read. I've been catching up on a lot of my reading. I play the piano, so I've been picking up the time to play the piano, because usually I don't get to play when I'm working. Doing a lot of junk distribution in my house. There's just so much stuff that you can accumulate through the years, and most of the time you don't have the time to really go through it. So I've been trying to do that, get rid of a lot of stuff that just isn't necessary anymore. I like to walk. Been trying to get out and walk, but unfortunately the weather has not been real conducive to that, as you are aware. Too much rain. I can't remember a spring being so rainy like this.
If
But
only
I
there
do
were,
like
if
to walk.
only, if only there was like something we could do to remember it rains in April. There was just some kind of thing that kids could say year after year, so they would remember that in May we get the benefit of all that rain.
Well, that's true. April showers bring May flowers. That is the
we'll
truth.
use that one. That's a good one.
There you go.
We can use that
Yeah.
one. Write that down
I
at
think we're
home,
gonna-
guys. Last question that I got was from an 8th grader. They said they knew you were a veteran, so but they don't know where you were and what you did when you were in the military. So if you could tell them what you did.
Well, I joined the military because my parents couldn't afford to send me to college. And they told me when I signed up that if I signed up, that they would provide the education for me to get my nursing. So I was what they called a medical service technician / specialist. And that's where I got all my nurses training. I was stationed in Florida at MacDill Air Force Base. And then I went to Okinawa, Japan. And then I was at Edwards Air Force Base. And I loved each and every one of my assignments. They were all very unique, and I learned a lot at all of the locations. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience being in the military.
Very nice. Well, okay, so then we've only got one question left, and that's my surprise question. I always come up with a question that's completely out of left field. All right? So, I'm sure you're going to do fine. But if you don't worry about it, okay?
Okay,
all right, so
Tim. All right.
Here is my question for you, my friend. When you were 12 years old, if you had something to do one day that you knew was going to make your parents really, really mad at you, what would you have done when you were 12 years old to make your parents so angry at you?
Oh. I think it would have been getting into a fight with my younger sister. We tended to fight, not all the time, but a little bit more than with my other siblings. So I think that would have made them really, really mad because there was 6 of us growing up. So my parents tried to keep as much harmony in the house as possible. So getting into a fight with my sister that's 18 months younger than me would have made them really, really mad.
And what's the name of that sister?
Donna.
The way you said it, are you still mad at her?
Absolutely not. We are best friends.
I don't know. He was like, Donna. All right, Miss Psomas, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Hey, everybody, say goodbye and say thank you so much to our good friend and your nurse and mine, Mrs. Psomas. So long, Miss Psomas.
Bye, Mr. Tamney. Bye, everyone. It was so good to talk with you guys. Please be safe, be well. And as I read in my Bible today, one of the verses that I was reading about, it was saying, pray always and do not lose hope. This too shall pass. Hold on to that, and soon we will be together again. Thank you so much. Be safe, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.